first you want to start off with a 16-inch cable needle, size 8. You'll need a stitch marker, and then you'll need your colors. So you'll need your perfect Mike Wazowski green. So this is, I love this yarn, super soft in Limelight. You'll also be needing some black. You also want a tan yarn, light blue for his iris, and also some white. So you want to start with your green and cast on 84 stitches. Down below in the description box there is a list of different sizes from children to men's sizes. If you want to pick down below, this video shows woman's size. So once you've cast on your 84 stitches, now you either can work this in the round or you can knit it flat. If you're going to knit it flat, then you're going to be knitting every row to create garter stitch. If you're working in the round, like I will be in this video, you're then going to go ahead and place your stitch marker on your right needle, and we're going to begin garter stitch. And if you've worked in the round, you know that to make garter stitch in the round, you have to alternate between a knit and a purl row. So we want to start off with a purl row, and we're going to purl across the entire row, and then we're going to switch to a knit row and switch back and forth as if we're doing stockinette, but because we're in the round, it will create garter stitch. And if anyone knits this flat without connecting in the round, you're just going to knit every row to create your garter stitch. And this hat is pretty simple because you're just going to work garter stitch for 6.5 inches. So once you complete your first round of purl, you're going to move your yarn to the back, pass your stitch marker, and knit. And you're going to knit all the way across, and then you just repeat rows 1 and 2. So you just knit a row, purl a row, knit a row, and that's going to create our garter stitch in the round. So you just continue this for 6.5 inches. Pretty simple hat. So once you have your 6.5 inches, you want to make sure that you finished with a purl row if you're working in the round, and you're on the wrong side if you're knitting flat. So now we're going to begin our first round of our decrease. So in the round you want to make sure you're on a knit row, and flat you want to make sure you're on the right side of your work. So you want to begin and you want to knit 19, and this is the start of a repeat. So once you've worked your 19, then you're just going to knit 2 together. And you're going to repeat that all the way around, and this will take our count to 80 stitches. Our next row, we're going to then just purl across, and if you're working flat, you're going to knit across. So for working in the round, you just want to purl every stitch all the way around this row. For our next round of decrease, you want to start off by knitting 8. Knit 2 together. Repeat that around. That's going to take our count to 72. So full written descriptions will be in the info box below. You're going to continue in this manner for a decrease row, followed by a purl row if you're working in the round, and followed by a knit row if you're working flat. And you're going to keep going down a number. So we just knitted 8, knit 2 together, then you'll knit 7, knit 2 together. full written down below, and you want to continue until you only have 16 stitches remaining all together. Then you're going to cut your yarn and finish off the top of your hat. So here's your finished hat, and you can leave it just like this and have a nice little garter stitch beanie at the top of your hat here. But if you want to continue to make your hat look more like Mike Wazowski, then keep watching. So to make his eye, you want to take your black yarn and your needles, and you're going to cast on 6 stitches. So you just want to knit your first row. Turn your work. You're going to increase every stitch, so you just want to knit in the front and the back of each stitch. So just go into knit, swing around and go through the back loop and knit it again. Make your increase. Then you're just going to knit across your 12 stitches. So now you're going to cut your yarn and you're going to pick up the color for his eye. So we're going to take our blue. So you just want to hold your black yarn and your blue yarn in the back of your work, and we're going to knit 2. Then we're going to do a front and back increase. Then we're going to knit 2. Then increase. Increase in the next stitch. Knit 2. Increase. Knit 2. Then we're going to turn our work and work a plain round of knit. So now we have 16 stitches. So now we're going to knit 3, increase, knit 3, increase, increase, knit 3, increase, knit 3. Then we're just going to knit a plain round. So now we have 20 stitches. So now we're going to cut our blue yarn and we're going to start adding in our white. So you want to begin by knitting 4. Increase. Knit 4. Increase. Increase. Knit 4. Increase. Knit 4. Then we're just going to work a plain knit row. So now we have 24 stitches. Then we're going to knit 5. increase, knit 5, increase, increase, knit 5, increase, knit 5. And then we're just going to knit across the plain row. So now we have 28 stitches. So you want to start off by knitting 6, increase, knit 6, increase, increase, knit 6, increase, knit 6. So now we have 32, and on our reverse side, as we knit a plain row, we're going to bind off as well. So you knit 2 stitches, pull that first stitch over and off. Knit 1 more, pull it over and off. And you're just going to do that until you've bound off all your stitches. So now we have our piece, and we're going to take it, and this is the right side. Your wrong side will have the dashes where your color changed. That's the wrong side. This side's the right side. So you want to take your eye, right sides together, and fold it in half. And we're going to sew along the blue and the white, and we're going to close those off together. Then you're going to take the center black, come up through to the front side of your work, and you're going to weave it in and out your stitches all the way around the center opening. And you want to pull tight, feed your yarn through to the wrong side, and pull tight to close the center of our eye. Now you're just going to center it on your hat and tack it down. So now you're going to take your tan yarn and your needles, and we're going to be making the horns. You want to cast on 10 stitches and work 2 rows of garter stitch. After your 2 rows, you want to start off with a knit 2 together. And then you want to knit the rest of your stitches. Turn your work and knit all your stitches. Then you're going to start with a knit 2 together. And then knit all your stitches. And you want to keep repeating this. So you just want to do a decrease row and a plain row. So you just want to repeat that until you end up with 3 stitches. So you want to go ahead and work your plain knit row. So now we're going to be repeating the same process but in reverse. So in our first stitch we're going to do an increase. So you just knit in the front and back, and then you're going to knit across your stitches. And then you're going to do a plain row of knit, and then you're going to increase in your first stitch. Knit across the rest, knit a plain row. And you're going to repeat this until you end up back with your 10 stitches. So once you've worked back to your 10 stitches and you worked your plain knit row, now we're going to work a knit row while binding off. So same concept, knit 2, pull the first one over and off, knit one more, pull the first one over and off. So now you have a piece that somewhat looks like a little bow tie. You're going to fold it in half, match up all the edges, and that's going to be our little horn to put on top of our hat. Now you just want to sew each side together, and then you're going to sew the bottom to the top of your hat. You want to go ahead and make one more of these and then attach them to your hat. So this is the finished product. I hope you guys enjoy this. If you make it, please send your recreations to me either through Twitter or Facebook. I would love to see your Monsters Inc. inspired hat. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.